Hi everyone, my name is Anna Anders, humbly here on this 9/11/2018. Just wanted to give a shout out to you guys real quick here. Been doing activism work all along. I do it 24/7, 365. There isn't a day that I don't think about the events of 9/11/01. And speaking of the events of 9/11/01, I want to ask you a question. I always reflect on 9/11/01 of where I was at and what happened that particular morning. And so for me, Anna Anders, humbly and entirely, I was in Flagstaff, Arizona, and I was getting up and getting ready for work. And as I recall it specifically, my mother was calling from corrupt Illuminati, Cleveland, Ohio. And what happened was her birthday's on, my deceased beloved mother's birthday is on September 10th. So the night before I had called her and sang her happy birthday. She didn't pick up her phone, but I left it on her machine to sing her happy birthday. So as my phone was ringing, I thought, oh, that's Mom calling me back about her birthday. Well, it was my mother. It was my mother, and I will never, ever forget the sound of my mother's voice. It was so horrific, and I've never heard my mother's voice sound like that ever over the telephone. And so I knew something was horrifically wrong somewhere in our world just by the sounds of my mother's voice. So I didn't know specifically what it was, but I'll never forget that morning. Anyways, I wanted to throw it out to you today. Where were you on 9/11/01? And then most reflectively and meditatively, what came to my mind's eye today is simply, where are we at today? Where are we at today with the events of 9/11/01 in terms of where are we at politically speaking? Politically speaking, are we awake? Are you more awake today on 9/11/2018 than you were back on 9/11/2001? I'm humbly Anna Anders on this YouTube channel, and I have some things to say and share here. So if you're not awake, you know, I try to take up the truth, and I've been trying to take up the truth ever since 9/11/01. And what I want to say is, I believed everything that our president was putting out on corrupt Main Street media, Nazi Illuminati Main Street owned media. I believed everything that let me correct myself. I believed everything that corrupt Skull and Bones, I said Skull and Bones because that's what George Bush Jr. and Sr. were. They belonged to secret societies of the Nazi Illuminati ones. So, Skull and Bones, Bush Jr., I believed everything that he was saying that day, that day that he was telling us that we had to get the terrorist. Well, what I didn't know, I mean, I really believed that one man in a cave took down the towers of the World Trade Center complex until all of a sudden, over time, the truth started showing up on my path. And as it showed up, it was so disturbing. And I battled with it because I was like, no, I believe what our president said, blah, blah, blah. Well, I believe that I was suffering from a bad case of political indoctrination, okay? And I know that today. So it took me a while to wake up and learn the truth and to take up the truth and to still take up the truth here and to stand up and speak to the truth and to the events of 9/11/01. So having asked you where you were on 9/11/01, I'd like you to reflect about that. And then I'd like to ask you, where are you at politically today? Having said all that, I want to ask you, have you ever heard of, let me see, some people, I'm going to give some names out here. Rachel Corrie is the first name I want to give to you. Rachel Corrie, she was a peace activist who went to the Middle East. That was her dream from the United States here, to go to the Middle East to solve the conflicts that were showing up there in the Middle East. She didn't understand it, and then she went to see for her own self. Well, Rachel Corrie was an American citizen who was basically murdered murdered, bulldozed by the Caterpillar Corporation, which, by the way, we sent bulldozers. We didn't, but the Caterpillar Corporation sent bulldozers to the Middle East for corrupt Israel to use to bulldoze the homes of the Palestinians. So, and to this day, the children of Palestine and the people of Palestine, they don't have any weapons there. Matter of fact, supposedly the Israeli soldiers say that they throw rocks. They throw rocks at them, and so this is why they kill those Palestinians. Well, this is a rock, by the way, and I got to tell you, this rock is a collection for me. Not from Ground Zero and not from Palestine. This is from the hospital that I was born at, St. Alexis Hospital in corrupt Illuminati, Cleveland, Ohio. And by the way, people, the Illuminati ones, they love bulldozing the truth. And they love bulldozing the truth and then packaging it up and then shipping it off to foreign places so that the truth can never be found. So if you do your homework, if you're from corrupt Illuminati, Cleveland, Ohio, you will know entirely that there was a hospital named St. Alexis Hospital at East 55th and Broadway, and I was born there in 1960. So they love to tear down the truth. And the truth is, my mother-in-law was a school teacher out at Hopi, and they tore down that school too. So they love hiding things. They don't want the truth to come out that a couple gals are trying to make peace flags, okay, for global peace. They got to cover their shit up. So, you know, back to Palestine. If you look at the history of Palestine, what happened was the corrupt Queen of England, who was also involved in 9/11/01, they formed what's called the Balfour Declaration. And out of the results of that declaration, what happened was they started to form corrupt Nazi Illuminati Israel. The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. This video's way too long and I gotta shut it down. But just know that the Nazi Illuminati ones, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, Queen of England, the Pope, and corrupt Israel did 9/11 for the Greater Israel Project or projection, all for oil pipelines, pretty much to be set up in that Middle East. So they're the ones doing the booting and looting and shooting up of our planet today, and then putting out this false flag narratives out on their Main Street corrupt Nazi Illuminati media. I'm Humbly Anna Anders. I gotta go. Video way too long on this 9/11/2018. Have a wonderful day, and I hope you find your truth along the way of life, you know, because we need the political truth, and we need it now because of the Rachel Corries of the world. And I want you to research Pat Tillman. Pat Tillman was a football player for the Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals. I lived out in Arizona over 20 years. And Pat Tillman, after 9/11/01, joined the military to help. And as he got to Afghanistan, what he saw was the truth. And the truth was that our military was protecting the opium supplies and the heroin trafficking trades in Afghanistan. So they had to kill Pat Tillman because he was corresponding with his family and friends about the heroin trafficking trade. So unfortunately for him, they lied and said he got hit by friendly sniper fire. People, you know, what's so friendly about sniper fire? Well, you know what? If you want to know about sniper fire, ask JFK. He knows about that, okay, and his family. So, and matter of fact, I want to give you two suggestions here, okay? Two suggestions. One, watch 9/11 Loose Change, a documentary made by Dylan Avery. Two, watch a documentary called From JFK to 9/11, It's a Rich Man's Trick. By the time you watch those two videos, see the peace sign, you will walk away politically, hopefully awake, and, you know, it might shake you up a little bit or a lot of it, but the truth is the truth, and we need to have the truth, and it's time for the truth. And so I'm Humbly Anna Anders. Way too long on this video. 9 minutes and 28 seconds. Got to shut it down. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye. Peace out on the planet.